this Thursday at 6 p.m. in the church hall. I'm here before you today because of an invitation. It was my freshman year of college. I had just arrived on campus. My first Sunday on campus, went to Mass, and there met Jeff, a recent college graduate who was beginning 2 years of service as a missionary on my college campus. We shared breakfast that Sunday morning, and that was the beginning of the invitations. Repeated invitations to connection, repeated invitations to his Bible study. You see, Jeff was not only committed to connection, but he was also committed to connecting others. He not only wanted more drama, he wanted more disciples. Through his invitations, Jeff reminded me that I was chosen, that God wanted to choose me. And I am here today because of his invitations. Today we begin part 2 of our homily series, More Than a Building. Last week we saw the historic collapse of connection in our society and what we are missing without it. Would that there was more drama here at St. Leo, because it would be a sign that we are connected, that we are more than a building. Today the Lord reminds us that we are not only called to commit to connection, but that we are called to commit to connecting others. The landowner of today's gospel is the Lord God, and in the landowner, we see God's eagerness for connecting others. That's the eagerness that Jeff knew and imitated. That's the eagerness we're called to imitate. So this morning, let's look at the landowner's eagerness for connecting others and see how we can imitate him ourselves. Where do we see the landowner's eagerness for connecting others? Well, first, he himself does the hiring. What's remarkable about that? Well, later in the parable, we learn that he has a foreman, and normally hiring would have been delegated to him. The landowner keeps this task for himself. He does the hiring. Connecting others to his vineyard is too important a task to delegate. Second, we see his commitment in the way he goes about connecting others. He goes out early in the morning as we'd expect, but then surprisingly, he keeps going out. Farm to market and back, farm to market and back, farm to market and back, 5 times. It's not just the workers who bear the burden of the day and the scorching heat. No, the landowner bears it too. And in this, we see his eagerness for employing people for connection. One might think him foolish, young, inexperienced. Shouldn't he have determined the number of workers he needed, gone out early, and hired all of them? One trip to the market and done. It's like going to the grocery store and not getting everything you need for the gumbo. But the landowner is neither foolish, nor young, nor inexperienced. He's less concerned about the project and more concerned about the people. He knows the humiliation. He knows the desperation of being unemployed. He knows the humiliation, the desperation of not being connected. So what does he do but go out over and over and over again? I am here. You are here because of God's eagerness for connecting others. Today he calls us to imitate him, to make his eagerness for connection our own. We cannot just be beneficiaries of connection here at St. Leo. We've got to be agents of connection too. How do we do that? How do we imitate God's eagerness for connection? Well, first, by connecting ourselves. Our lack of connection here at St. Leo may be an obstacle to the conversion God wills for other people, for other families who choose not to connect here because there isn't any connection. Second, once we've connected, we need to become inviters. Start with your already existing relationships. Take it to prayer. Lord, who do you want me to invite to St. Leo? Pray for courage. Pray before and after you invite. Follow through on your invitations. It usually takes at least 5 invitations to produce one yes. You'll get a no much more than a yes. But success is in the number invited, not in the number who show up. What are the obstacles to us being inviters? The first, fear. Fear of rejection, being told no. Fear of being considered odd. Fear of creating discomfort in the relationship. Fear of being considered one of those people. Bring those fears to God and hear him say, do not be afraid. Second obstacle, perhaps we don't think it's socially acceptable to invite others to religion, to impose religion on others. I just don't think it's right to impose the pearl of great price, the treasure buried in a field, the person whom you were made for, who loves you more than you can imagine. I just wouldn't want to impose that. Allow the Lord to destroy that lie. Maybe you don't think you've got what it takes to invite others. You've got God. What more do you need? God is committed to connecting others to